Okay, we're good on my end.
I was speaking and muted simultaneously.
Oh.
Okay. Cool.
Oh.
So how's your day been? How are you feeling? What's been coming up for you? What downloads? What's inspiring?
I'm trying to channel what's been going on into our topic for today. I guess something, the reverse has been coming up for me because I know my puppy is gonna pass away soon. And so I just really I just got confirmation of that today and kind of had some soul relief. I mean, this is not your average relationship with a dog or a pet. We're extremely bonded. And there's just been a lot coming through for that on releasing him and letting him know that he doesn't have to hold on any longer and I don't need him. And there's just some things that have happened in my life where I just always intuitively knew when it was time for me to actually like really step into a next level of expansion, that this would come through. So that's been coming through. I had to express it because my emotions are really still raw about it. Even though it's not necessarily kind of what we were intending to talk about today. But on the other hand, I have been, ironically, because this is not necessarily something that I focus on in this particular channel, but I have ironically over the past few days just been seeing so much more, either synchronistically or very bluntly, talks of hermeticism and the occult and that sort of mysticism and using your magical abilities in that way. I'm seeing so much more of that start to come up. And I was just tuning into myself today because I'm so much more in kind of the galactic realms or whatever. But as we know, everything ties in together, and I'm just seeing new downloads of how to tie all of that in together in this next kind of way, which is what we were talking about yesterday a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting that the reverse came up for you. I like that because they're bringing me to the idea that, or the the truth that we are one living entity. We are pure consciousness expressing itself all the time. And so that's so transient and fluid and open and malleable and changeable. So we don't ever truly die or rebirth. We only transform. If you think of an artist who's shaping or molding a clay pot, it's kind of like that. We are shaping our creation. So it's always just taking new forms, new shapes, which is transformation. It's just ongoing, constant transformation. And so even death unto itself is a concept. Yes, things will dissolve and be brought back to life in new forms, but the consciousness itself is eternal and everlasting, and it's not ever going to go away. And I know that you know this, I don't need to say this to you, but anytime that you want to tap into the essence or the presence of a loved one or an animal or anything like this, you always have access to that through the heart center. Because his consciousness, her consciousness, I'm not sure which, will live on eternally. And that's kind of a hard concept for us as humans sometimes to celebrate, detach from, and And even in the celebration, because I feel like happy tears, I feel like tears of gratitude and love for just even having had the opportunity to share that space and time with, I don't know if it's a him or her, with him, and how beautiful that is, and how sometimes we can't, it can be really easy to mourn the loss, feel the loss of the presence, the body, the form that consciousness once inhabited. But yeah, even in the context, so it's a continual, and this is beautiful because this ties into the occult too, where it's like it's a continual disintegration and an integration of energy that's happening. So there's a dissolution of form, and there's a reshaping and remolding of that form, of new forms, of new creations, even in our physical body. If you think about how often our bodies change and transform and shift and evolve and all of this. And it's a creation process, it's like when we are ready to transition into a new creation and we leave that other creation behind, we allow it to dissolve back into dust by just taking our attention off of it, and then something else phases in, something new is created. So it's an ongoing cycle of that. And they're taking me back to that acronym for God, generator, organizer, destroyer, which I think is absolutely brilliant, because all of that is happening simultaneously all the time.
100%. Yeah. And it's just, so the interesting thing is, because I experience my emotions so differently now, it's almost like for the past year with him, I have been, I've had that fear come up. Like I'll just be walking him and I look over and all of a sudden it bubbles up that I know he's going to leave very soon. However, yet today, coming to that final, just knowing in conversation, the emotions are still there, but I'm just so at peace with it now. And I'm so like, just want to celebrate him and let him move on when he's ready to move on. I'm so detached, and I'm so knowing that obviously I don't want my dog to die, right? But knowing that it is time, that I kind of need that space and that freeing up of my energy. So does he, so do my other family members, that it is in fact a good celebratory thing, and that in itself makes me feel closer to soul, soul wise or whatever. So I guess I'm just expressing that, that it's interesting in experiencing a new death this way versus 5 years ago, coming from an unawakened state. You're so attached to the physical, which the physical is just a comforting thing. I mean, he's so much more than his physical body. And yeah, his physical body is comforting to me. I love snuggling with my dog and petting him and playing with him and all that fun stuff. And the same goes for human. Like when you're losing a human, you're losing the comfort of that physical form. But comfort is just attachment. And when they leave, you're just freeing up energetic space to be evolved, to evolve. It's the same when you get rid of stuff. You're just freeing up energetic space to evolve. And so I was thinking about, there's so many things I want to say. One thing I want to say is thinking in regards to this and switching it around to what our kind of topic is, well, how does anything die? How does any living thing die? Well, they just finally let go. They detach from this reality or this world or this knowing. So vice versa, how do we allow something that's non-physical to transfer over into physical? It's detaching from another reality and bringing it down into the surface. It's the same exact thing. It just depends on how you want the energy to move or to be created, and which direction you want it to go. And the other thing I have to say this. I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and they were asking me about the photos I have up on my webpage for the Universal Light Codes, and they were just asking, you know, like, I feel like you were kind of teaching us the energy of manifestation, but just kind of wanted to check with that. And I'm like, what photos do I have up there anyways? I had to go look. And so I'm scrolling through, and of course, I should know myself by now, but of course, the first photo is of a nebula, and I just had to chuckle because I'm like, what more of a perfect energetic statement of what creation and manifestation and physical moving into something else is. It's just, so simply my answer is, of course, yes, that's what more.
Of course, that's up there.
You know, but what more of a perfect example to think about the movement of energy, moving non-physical into physical happens all of the time. It's just, are you aware of it or not? 98% of the time, no. And 98% of the time, you only care if you're aware of it, if it's something that you're wanting to control and bring into your experience. And control used to be such a kind of, especially in spirituality, a word we push away, but you have and can have absolute control over everything. It's just moving the momentum and the direction of energy into a different experience. So how are you experiencing the energy in non-physical form, and how are you going to move that experience into physical form?
Yeah, that's it too. It's the simplicity of that raw, open potential that is nothingness, that doesn't have any meaning attached to it yet, that is absolute and utter stillness and emptiness and spaciousness. And then having an idea, a vision, a conceptualization of something that we want or something we want to create, and then taking that substance and moving it with our focus by giving it a direction into form. And oftentimes that translation occurs so naturally and organically. And that's really the beauty of letting go. I think that there's profound creative power in detachment, in letting go, in being fully, lucidly present, because there's no resistance in your field when that is happening. There's just pure openness. The heart is open. You're connected to the moment. And so there's nothing that is closing off your channel. And we talked about this a little bit the other day, how the mind likes to create resistance by holding on to things, stories, the creation itself. And the minute we let it go, we just let it fall out of our mind, and we get really ultra present in our heart, then that stuff can just flow right into us. But I mean, all that is taking that non-physical potential and moving it through the way that we focus our energy. And this is all of our energy, our thought energy, our language, our actual passion, and the fuel and the fire from our heart and our soul. And then the action that we take into physical form by giving all of that energy a direction so that it can translate from the non-physical into the physical. And it's really so simple. And then all the while we're doing that, just staying really engaged and inspired in the moment, knowing that creation is going to phase in at any point in time.
Absolutely. I mean, when you are just crystal clear and crystal present with the moment, that's when you have all the power and all the control, and that's when you are one with all that is. And that is manifestation, is just being one with the creation and allowing it to evolve, allowing it to process, allowing it to move into your current reality or current experience, or you moving into that reality or experience where that thing is. It's, you know, it goes both ways. It's all the ways. I'm just thinking about something really beautiful that happened for a client of mine a few days ago. And we've been playing with stretching her expansion and her manifestations, her ability to receive. And she just kind of was playing around with, you know, I'm just going to ask for things just because I want to. Just not because I need it, not because I should, not because it means anything. I'm just going to start asking. And so then, you know, she told me the other day, she's like, you're not going to believe what happened. Like, what happened? She's like, I manifested 5K out of the blue, out of nowhere. I only asked for like $50. Look what happened, right? I was like,
that's the best.
But it's because when you're in that state of meaninglessness, it doesn't mean anything. When it means something, that's when you're attached to the meaning of whatever form it's currently in.
Yeah, and there's an inclination to get then addicted to the story, and that can happen in either way. It can be addicted to the story of it showing up or of it not showing up. And so just letting go, because everything is essentially formless, empty spaciousness at the core. And when you enter into that space, you're making all this room for the thing to just phase in to your experience. And I was talking to one of my clients about this the other day, like being able to cross a certain threshold and move into that next level of, 20K, 30K, 40K, and to move beyond that glass ceiling. And they're like, I just can't get past the threshold. I just can't get past the threshold. And I'm like, what threshold? You've created a threshold. And so there's going to be one. But what if you were just really open and you weren't attached to any numbers or anything at all? You were just open and really present with your experience. And the only thing that you focus on then is coursing the energy, aligning yourself to the frequency of that magic, of that creation energy, that pure, clean consciousness energy coursing through your body. That's all you have to do. And that will impact every single area of your life, from your finances to your health, to your relationships, to everything. And we've talked about this so many times. But you don't even need to have a story at a certain point. And I think that this is what I would consider the most expansive level of creation, where you drop the story altogether. You will be compelled to ask. You will be inspired to ask. You will feel good about asking. But there's no attachment whatsoever. You just trust that the frequency is going to work. And at a certain point, you don't even have to ask, because you've done all of the asking. Your soul knows. Your soul has done all of the asking. And your soul can see things from every angle, from every vantage point, from every perspective. And the mind has a limited capacity to grasp even the vision, even with the most grand, beautiful visions that we can conjure in our mind. The soul still has a more expansive view. So at some certain point, you even let go of the asking, and the single priority becomes to be present and flow the energy. That's it. Everything, you just show up. You just show up to the moment, and you course that creative energy through your being. You express it. You receive it through the spaciousness, through the emptiness, through the silence, through the holding of space while you're connecting with others. And then you express whatever is coming through you, whatever is channeling through you. And that it's that continual, giving and receiving are one and the same. They're happening simultaneously all the time. And everything that you could ever desire is going to show up for you naturally. Some of the greatest things that have ever manifested for me in my life are just so perfect for me, for my soul. And I could have never even thought to ask about them, because I didn't even know that they were things that existed. But we can get so attached to the story. So even in the energy of wanting, which is a beautiful thing too, because I've gotten so deep into that non-dual awareness and existence, and I was so empty that I was just walking through my life every day, and I'm like, everything's great, everything's peaceful. I don't really need anything. I don't really want anything. I'm good. And I was just content in that beingness for months when I had that integration. And then I wanted to want, because I'm like, I want to feel that excitement again. I want to feel that exhilaration. I want to feel inspired by a vision that moves me. And it was just in that non-duality, that just wasn't there. I was just so content being, but everything I needed showed up, everything. But I was just so unattached to any of it. I wasn't even getting super excited. I was like, oh, cool, there's that thing that I've always wanted. Oh, cool, here's this thing showing up. And there was really I was so neutral about all of it. But then I wanted to want again. And so I started wanting again, and I started envisioning again, and conjuring ideas and creations again. But there's no attachment because I just know it will show up. And I know that when I let go, I say what I want and then I forget about it. That's all. I just forget. I let go and I move into the next moment, and I'm creating something else, or engaging with someone else, or dancing or playing or going to an event or something, not thinking about the thing that I asked for. And I know that by virtue of doing that, it shortens the timeline exponentially on the creation. The energy is like, well, if you let go, I can move. If you let go, I can form myself. If you let go, I can translate from idea to physical reality. But you've got to not grasp onto me. And that doesn't mean that you don't water me and nurture me and pay attention to me and celebrate me and appreciate me and love up on me. But you can't like grasp onto me out of fear or anxiety or worry, because that's the very energy that holds it off. That's what creates the tension and the resistance. But when you open that channel way, exponentially more than what you've asked for can flow in. So like let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, and get ultra present. Ultra present. We were talking about this on Saturday. We were calling it intensified consciousness, and be intensely conscious and present in the moment. Just open to whatever is presenting itself to you. And then you just show up. You hold space and you listen, and then you express, and you hold space and you listen and you express, and you're just open to what is, and you're not even thinking about the thing. And then the next thing you know, the thing shows up.
Because when you forget about it, you're letting go of the perception or the knowing that it's still not present. You're letting go of it not being in physical form. As soon as you let go of it not being in physical form, then there's room for it to be in physical form or show up in your experience of your reality, because physical form is still just a perception of an experience of a reality. I mean, I'm sure there's definitely ways and means, and it might take a few days of just meditating, but that I could totally shift into a completely different space. It's just all about my experience and my perception and what I'm choosing and allowing myself to see. So as soon as you forget about the thing, I mean, go distract yourself in a number of different ways, and so that it remains meaningless. And this, I'm being reminded of this again to bring this up. So it remains meaningless. Give everything else a different meaning, that it is there. Give everything a different meaning that makes you believe in the experience that it is here. It's already there.
Yeah.
The other, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You have something.
The other thing they're bringing up to me, and this is could be a little bit triggering for some of you, if you've had experiences like I have. But I feel called to share it in this way. When you don't let go, when you hold on, I'm being reminded of rape or experiences where someone's just choked you or held on to you so tight or forced you into giving something of yours that wasn't theirs. And that's essentially what you're doing to the universe, which is you, when you hold on so freaking tightly out of fear and anxiety and worry and control and ego. It's just ego. It's just it's just ego, and it's just fear. But that's essentially what you're doing to the universe or yourself by just holding on so desperately and so tightly and being in that energy. It's exactly the same way as some of those traumatic experiences. So I feel like that's actually the connection that some of you are needing to make it to that next level of recognizing that the irony of that, the irony of what you're doing, on how you're willing things to create. Willing things to create is what we're talking about. And what many of you are still doing is forcing them to.
Yeah, I mean, will is an expression of choice. So it's deciding and choosing and selecting what you want and what they're bringing me to right now. And I really want to do this. I did this today with a client, and I'm feeling it just in the energy of people watching and in the collective and in general, because the energy is so fixed around it, is they're wanting you guys to, us, all of us, to experience creation as a dance, as completely open, flexible, and fluid, and allow yourself to flow from one moment to the next, to the next, to the next. And so I just want to pull in some, well, I'm going to pull in some wealth code because they're really powerful frequencies. They're abundance frequencies. I'm going to pull in some golden light and some glyphs and some galactic energies to just break up very gently, very lovingly, very easefully any fixed constructs, ideas, identifications of self, programs, limitations, judgments, attachments, anything that is keeping anybody from experiencing their life with that fluidity, like that dance. And we're just going to we're just going to make it water. That's what they're showing me now, is water, bringing in some light blue light and allowing all of, we're going to pull it in through the spinal cord, through the crown, through the third eye, through the throat, through the heart, all the way down, up and through your spine, circling around like a vortex. We're going to bring it down into your solar plexus, creative centers, your root, all the way into the earth and back up in and through like a torus field. And we're just going to activate the full spectrum of electromagnetic magnetic frequencies, rainbow light, diamond light, crystalline energies, to just invoke your wholeness, invoke your creative energies, your creative capacities, your ability to shift and change and transform and evolve from moment to moment to moment in all of these different fluid expressions of self, in different relationships, in different containers, and in different creations in your physical life, in your business, when you are working with your health and your body, and when you go to events or you're dancing or you're creating something, allowing yourself to be fully fluid and open in your self-expression, because everything in creation is an expression of pure consciousness. These are all just different creative intelligences that are expressing themselves in different ways. Everything is an expression of creative consciousness. And into creation, there is no good or bad. There is no right or wrong. There is no, this is the way to do this, and this is the way to do that. And this is the way that you have to express yourself to be successful. This is the way that you have to express yourself to be loved. This is how you have to show up. This is what you have to do to make your creation come to pass. You just need to show up to the moment and allow that creative energy to move through you in a very fluid way. So when you're done having a conversation with somebody, allow it to go. Let it disintegrate and dissolve. It's already happened. And allow yourself to be present in the next moment. And then when you're in your next interaction, allow yourself to show up to that interaction as open and authentic as possible. So there's no attachment to anything, to no form, to no ideology, to no construct, belief system, identification of self. And that's a big one for a lot of people. Who am I? You are creative consciousness expressing itself. So let yourself do that. And your transformation, your evolution, your unfolding will arise naturally. And they're wanting you to know that it's safe to be fluid. It is safe to flow. And every single time you let go of the previous moment, which no longer exists. You let go of the future moment, which no longer exists. And you allow yourself to show up and express in your authenticity the essence of your being in the moment. Everything in your life will take care of itself. Every desire and wish and dream that you've ever had will flow through you, come through you in form. And it's kind of like, they're taking me to this example of a painter, an artist. We'll take Alex Gray because he's a phenomenal artist, where it's like they'll step back from their creation and they'll go within and they'll allow that spaciousness to be there, and then they'll go back to the canvas, and then they'll go back within and they'll go back to the canvas. They have no idea what is going to flow forth, but by the end of that creation, there's a masterpiece, and that happens over and over again. So when we're shifting through life cycles, even with people and places and things and occupations and creations, there's always something more open, expanded, awaiting you. So let yourself move into that with fluidity. Let yourself move into your next level of expansion, evolution, and don't put any fixed patterns or fixed ideas around what that needs to be or what that needs to look like, because, man, I mean, you can call in $50,000 into your experience, but what if there's $100,000 waiting for you? What if there's something bigger? So allow yourself to open and expand to the potential that is available to you in the moment, and knowing that your beingness, your presence, your natural expression of that abundant source energy, that is what is going to align you to the reality that you desire. Do that. Allow that to be the thing that motivates you and inspires you. The notion that all you have to do is course the energy, flow the energy. And so I'm hearing now, how do I get into the energy? How do I get into alignment? And the first thing that they're saying is move. Empty your mind. Allow that energy to come in. That's the key, number one, first step, always, in every single instance. If you need to recharge yourself, if you're feeling depleted, if you're not feeling energized, like you don't have clean energy moving through your system, you need to still your mind and get grounded into your heart center. Feel your breath moving through your body. And you need to create enough of that empty space that that energy can come through. And within it, within these light codes, within these activations, within all of this is the information, is the data, is the revelation, are the ideas, are the inspirations that you will then move into the world to express. Your expression is abundance. You are expressing the abundance of the universe. You're expressing creative source energy. You are expressing pure consciousness. That is the gift. That is what you have to offer to the world. And by virtue of that expression, abundance will flow back into you. So your money, your wealth is all tied into your ability to express that source energy from your beingness. Mm-hmm. And you can call upon anyone in the universe that you connect to, your allies, your guides, your ancestors, the ancients, the immortals, the celestial beings of infinite divine love and light, all the ascended masters, you know, animal totems, all of this, your spirit guides that are with you always to help you activate and integrate these frequencies, these codes, this, you know, we've got this whole electric magnetic spectrum of light that is available to us, and they all contain different tools. It's like they're different colors. You've got paintbrushes, you've got all the colors on your palette, you've got thought, you've got perception, you've got vision, you've got action, you've got language, you've got passion, you've got fire, you've got water, earth, ether, all of this. These are your tools to create with. So you are just essentially taking the nothingness, the emptiness, the spaciousness of pure, infinite, open potential, which means that anything is possible. You don't have to play by any rules except for the ones that resonate deeply with you, which is beautiful. You get to create your own rules. You just show up. You just express. You move the energy. It's literally like art. It's literally like creation. And in order to bring that creation into form, there's a fluidity, there's an organicness to it, there's a natural expression of the essence of your being that is coming forth. And they're showing me, like, if any of you dance, or if any of you do, I've just used dance all the time because I'm a dancer, or if you sing, or if you play an instrument, and you can feel how you drop out of your mind and you get into the feeling sensation of being with that instrument, being with the instrument that is your body. Start to adopt that kind of rhythm, that kind of movement around your manifestations as well. Oh, well, I think I would love to create a soulmate, or some more money in my bank account, or a brand new car. This is just something that just came up. It was kind of funny. Whatever it is, start dreaming it up, envisioning it. Go move your energy in the direction that brings you closer to that creation. Start looking at those things. Start getting inspired ideas. Start taking action in any way that you can on your end to build that momentum, but do it in a fluid, enjoyable, creative way, not a forceful, efforting, hardworking, got to get it done, hard, straight, edgy way. Unless that's your thing and that actually turns you on, then go for it. But I just, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to activate just like a whole forceful stream, waterfall of these galactic codes and these light codes and these wealth codes to just come in, these abundance codes, to break up any patterning around that is fixed, that would keep anyone who's listening to this call right now holding on, latching on to the previous moment, the next moment, and not allowing yourself to be fluid, open, and present in your moment, because that is where all creation takes place. in the present moment. Let go, express, let go, express, let go, express. Be fluid, open, here, now.
Powerful. Beautiful. Yeah, and thank you for bringing in those codes, the codes and those frequencies we speak on so often. And what's coming through for me is we're wanting you to understand and grasp beyond your human reality just how powerful you are. And speaking of bringing something through to the surface into physical form, you must remember and expand beyond your human control and identify with, realize, connect to the powers and how much power you have that is not in physical form. You are the least powerful when you are in the human form. And you're so much more beyond that. The more you connect to and tap into that, that is where your true power and powers are harnessed from. And so meeting the non-physical with your non-physical presence is where the infinite power to create from truly lies. When you meet the non-physical with your human presence, you no longer have the power to create that into your external experience. Rather, it is going internal and out and above and beyond what meets your eye, what meets your touch, what meets your physical presence. That is where your powers to create, yes, what your limited mind chooses, but well beyond that as well, which is where those manifestations come from that are so beyond your control and so beyond what you ever even asked for. That's where all of that lies and comes in from. They're just showing me so much right now. And so we also want to remind you, when choosing to work with different elements of abundance, different light codes, different frequencies, different energetic tools, different magical tools and experiences, to bring those into your physical body, because that is releasing the weight and the density from your system. So wherever you feel a ping, a pang, an ache, an illness, a dis-ease, a discomfort, a density, a heaviness, a cramp, a worry that this part of your body may turn into a disease or an illness or an unwellness. Bring that energy into those parts, because inside, beneath your skin, is an entire universe, is an entire solar system, is planets, is stars, is frequencies, is vibrations, is colors, is atoms, is light codes. It's all beneath and inside of who you really are. And so all you're doing by bringing those energies into your elbow, into your fingertip, into your stomach, into your womb space, move beyond just the 7 chakras. There's a million and one other different chakras inside of you. It's time to go a little deeper, go a little bit more focused with that frequency. Bring that into those trigger points, those places for awakening. They're calls for awakening. They're calls for utilization of more power. Your awakening power inside of those areas. And yes, they are important to your ability to manifest, whether you recognize it, realize it, want to admit it or not. They are 100%, because you're working with a whole system. You're working with a whole collective inside and of your physical form. If you want more wholeness to take place into physical form, you must work with your wholeness, that is your eternal form, internal, external, physical, multidimensional, and bring that power into your physical form. That's what you're wanting to manifest, is the power to create certain experiences.
Yes. Thank you. And that's power, as in, I mean, I'm going to tie this all back in together, but power is abundance, is frequency, is light, is energy, is potential. That's what all of that is. It's just that energy. And everybody who's listening right now knows what it's like to be in that magical state. You know what the energy of ecstasy and inspiration and exhilaration and that clean energy, when it's coursing through you, you know what that feels like. And I just really want to bring forth that there's no differentiation between, again, good or bad, right or wrong. There is no wrong way to express yourself as the all that is, as creative consciousness. There is only one creative consciousness. See, humans, we put constructs around what all of this means. We are the ones who have even created the paradigm around deserving and undeserving, right, wrong, light, dark, good, bad, male, female, all of this. It is all one creative consciousness energy. So in the breaking up of that fixed energy, I want everybody to just expand into the oneness of the creative intelligence that is, and it will choose through each individuated aspect of self to express in different ways. And that's the beauty of this creation, is that I will always express different from Jen, and Jen will always express different from Kedrick, because you're the first person I thought of, and so on and so on. Just, we will all express differently, and that's the beauty. I mean, if you walk outside and there's trees and there's flowers and there's clouds and there's the earth and there's all of these different expressions of creative source energy. So even within the context of your own creation, allow it to shift and evolve and change and transform, because it's not always going to be the same. And I think growing up, this is why I always had a hard time with pick what you want to do. And I looked at the list when I went to college and I said, really, is this what I get to choose from? Like, this is all that I get to choose from? And I was learning so much more through my own personal life experience and all of the interest that I took in studying. I mean, I've always been obsessed with magic, and I think everybody probably knows this by now, but and the occult wisdom and religions and traditions and philosophies, and especially shamanism and the native tradition, because they knew how to create with the energy. And that's all that we're here doing. So allow yourself to expand completely, utterly, entirely beyond the fixed constructs. They're actually bringing me to negative emotion, anger, sadness, or what we may consider negative emotion. And by negative, I'm looking at this from a perspective of, if you're looking at a battery and there's a positive charge and there's a negative charge, one of those charges depletes, one of those charges gives life. So that's really only the difference between some of these things that we experience. And you can turn even your anger, even your sorrow, into a positively charged expression of energy by taking the judgment, by taking the resistance, by taking the fixed story off of it. Unconditionality, unconditioned, no story around the experience that you're having. Your anger is beautiful. Think of all the times in your life when your anger became fuel for motivation, for empowerment, that gave you the that you needed to get yourself out of maybe an abusive situation or a stuck situation or something where you just needed that fire to catapult you forward. All of these expressions are valid, acceptable, beautiful in their own right, in their own way. And so even as we speak to the expression of creative source energy is magical and beautiful and creative and all of this, we want you to know that it is all magical and beautiful and creative. And the thing that will help you to take the resistance off of that, that will keep you from getting drained by your own expression, is to not put judgment on what your expression is in any given moment. And that will actually accelerate the transformation process and the evolution process into more of that open, expanded, creative, magical, blissful feeling energy. But you just let yourself be in the fullness of your authenticity from moment to moment to moment. There's something else that wanted to come through there too. If you have anything to add, go for it. I'm sure it'll come back in.
Well, just to add to that, as you're speaking to that, same thing when you're talking about a negative or positive charge with emotions, you can still use those negative charged emotions to create. When you speak of something that's depleting, well, same coin, different side. what do
Mhm.
I need to deplete in my current experience that is the block or the resistance or the space from what I am calling in? So if what I want is not here right now, if it's over here, there's something causing this distance. There's a million and one things that could be causing this distance. So how can I deplete or destroy or erase or eliminate this distance? And with that, you know, like you're saying, how many times have you used anger to motivation? Well, what you just did right there was you used anger, more of a negatively charged emotion, to deplete your blockade to moving the energy towards that desire, so to speak.
Mhm.
Another way to look at it, because
Yeah.
there is still a perception that those negatively charged emotions, I mean, I'll be honest, I used some of that fiery anger energy to create something instantly the other day.
Mhm.
And there's still kind of a belief sometimes that that's either, well, I mean, there's a little bit of a judgment on it, A, or B, that that's just not possible. But you know, you can create with anything. You can create with it. That's why you have all of the emotions of the human experience. You have all of those senses, those perceptions, those feelings, those emotions. They're just different paints to paint.
Yes. Yes.
So, and you layer them just like you do with a painting. You don't just go red, blue, yellow, and then that's it. No, you layer the colors to create something new and something different.
Mhm. Yeah, and they're just wanting me to pull through too that you're always creating. You are never not creating in your experience. All energy is creative energy. Even destructive energy is creating. It's creating disintegration, dissolution, transformation. It's all always, it's, you're creating always in every moment. And they're wanting to bring, okay, so there's a couple of things. So one around the negative charge and the positive charge too. And this is just another perspective to look at this from. Is often what we refer to as the masculine, the feminine energy. And this is when we get into opening and expanding into our full potential, which is something I'm really interested in doing for humanity, because my sole purpose is to plug people into source energy. That is it. And that's by opening, activating, utilizing the fullness of our potential, bringing it to life, awakening it into creative expression. And so the negative is more the feminine, the resting potential, the open potential, or the closed potential actually. And the masculine is more of the active, expressive, push energy. And so there's magnetism and there's electric. So it's what we always say, electric magnetic energy, and then everything on that frequency. And that's why I do that in my activations, because I would be here yelling out the gamma rays and the ultraviolets for like 10 minutes straight if I went through all of them individually. But that's all of those light codes that are included in that full range of energetic potential that we have. And to actualize and utilize the full potential, we have to create balance, and it's a dynamic balance. And you've heard me say this before, because it's so contingent upon the individual and what the individual needs, where it's you're in that open, resting, relaxed, empty space, then you're in the creative, active, expressive space. And those are also different charges of the energetic potential that is contained within the cell itself. And we shift in and out of those different expressions of the energy, and they're necessary. They're all necessary for creation, the creative process. The thing that holds primarily, so if you're listening to this and you feel like you're at a threshold, or you feel like you're hitting a glass ceiling, or you feel like your creation isn't coming, and you've been wanting and you've been wanting and you've been wanting, and you don't even know what else to do, you've taken all the action, you think you've let go, all of this, your mind trying to separate you from the now is the number one blocker of all of your creations. It's a resistance. So imagine that your mind is here in the now, right? and it can be used as a tool in the present moment to channel source consciousness, to channel source energy. So the energy will filter up from your core, the core of your being, the core of your cells, into your heart and up through your mind. When your mind tries to separate, and this is another way that we refer to separation, evil, the devil in the tarot, like conditioning, our story will pull us out of the now, and you can literally feel a tug or a pull, a resistance, a tension that starts to happen, and you're draining your energy away to that story, and you're missing all of what is here for you in the moment. So the moment that you take a deep breath, you get in your body, you open up, you relax, you come back to center, you come back to the present moment, you release so much resistance that is created by the mind, unless you're going into a space where you're intentionally time traveling or, playing with interdimensionally and doing all of that. But the key is at some certain point is you bring that future vision into the present moment. You live in the energy of it now. So even in the context of that, you're present. Your mind's not connected to a story, which is what's draining your energy, causing the resistance, the grasping, the attachment, all of that there's so many ways to speak to the same exact thing, the resistance that is created by the mind. And you come back to your center and you make your focus to course the energy and flow the energy and be fully present to whatever is going on in your life. That connects to everything else that's going on. You can have, while me and Jen are talking, this has happened so many times. We're done, you get in your inbox, you've got clients filling up your inbox. And it's like, we're not even doing that right now. It's just, we're just expressing and flowing the energy. And so that manifestation shows up somewhere else. And so there's profound beauty in the simplicity of this, allowing your mind to let go of the story, let go of the conditioning, let go of the attachment, let go of anything that is not right here, right now. Get as intensely fucking present as you possibly can, and know that by virtue of your frequency, by virtue of coursing that energy, everything that you want, need, and desire is going to show up for you. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day in a session about having a single pointed focus and allowing your frequency to do the work for you, because with that frequency comes everything that you need. The intuitions, the guidance, the revelations, the next action steps, do I go to this situation or this situation? Should I say yes? Should I say no? Should I sharpen my discernment and be more open and aware in this moment? Should I be in my psychic detective mode, or should I be really open and loving and soft and gentle? And you'll know all of that, and all of those expressions are okay, but you'll know what is needed as you're present. And that's conscious creation. That is conscious creation. So even if you're creating from what we would consider a negative charge or a negative polarity or a negative emotion, as long as you don't have resistance to it, it doesn't matter. This is why Donald Trump is running our country and creating all the things that he wants. He's not in resistance to himself. I'm sure that he is in other ways, but there are many ways in which he is not. And so this is just a great example as how neutral creation is to that. In certain areas of his life, he can create really well because he doesn't have resistance to self. And it's the same for us when you don't have resistance to self. So even if you're creating from your shadow or your unconscious, you're bringing it on board with your conscious, and you're consciously choosing to create from that space. There's no resistance there. It's when you're trying to make yourself something that you're not in the moment, and you're resisting yourself, you're fighting yourself, you're judging your expression, that all that tension and all that resistance to self builds up. And then you get in your head about, oh, maybe I shouldn't have shown up this way, or maybe I should have done this different. If it has occurred, let it go and move into the next moment. The best gift you can give yourself is to be present, because that will also minimize all of that, those explosive things, because you won't be suppressed or repressed. Your devotion will be to showing up in your full authentic expression.
Right.
And so that stuff will be building up.
Right, exactly. And the soul knows. The soul knows what it came here to create, what it came here to do, be, experience. So, going to what you're saying, whether you're creating with your shadow energy or this energy or that part of yourself or this version of yourself, let it all come out, let it all flow. Just release and let go, because the soul knows. The soul knows, and you're not going to stop the soul. So you might as well just get out of your own soul's way and let the soul do the work. And just follow along and play, because it will be an enjoyable experience for you the less and less you're in resistance of how it's called or wants to create.
Do we have any questions that are coming through? I meant to ask this a bit ago.
Not really today, actually.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check.
Pianos. No.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if there's anything else I mean, I guess when I look at the energy, all that I see are these codes, and they're so ethereal and they're light. They're light. It's almost like you were talking about the other day. It's like gold glitter or stars, or it's potential. Like if you've ever looked at an actual NASA representation of energetic star stuff, potential raw energetic material, that's what it looks like. It's these nebulous clouds of energy, and we are that. That is what we're made out of. That's what our body is made of. There's universes within universes within universes, infinitely in and infinitely out. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you really can't imagine that infinity, because it goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And just the act of us looking for more to discover will create more to discover. And that's another beautiful gift of the tool of perception, is whatever you're looking for, you'll find. And that's where the energy of anticipation and saying yes to your creation and looking for beauty and looking for magic and looking for blessings and gifts and looking for what you want, is you focus in on what it is that you want, and you start looking for that, and you literally forget about all the stuff that you don't want. The way that the energy works is it will literally start to phase in that reality. All of the energy will start to formulate around your focus, around the direction that you're moving your focus in. It'll breathe life into that creation. It'll start to bring that into form. And the things that you take your attention away from will disintegrate and start to dissolve. And this is the power of attention and giving focus and appreciation to the things that you do want and that you do have, that you do love. And to just allow the other stuff to fade away. You just don't give it any attention anymore. And it's that simple. That's how that creation dissolves and a new one is formed. And that's constantly happening. And back to the beginning again, disintegration, integration, transformation, what we would call death and rebirth. It's really just a shifting and changing of forms and ways that the energies orbit together and form together and attract and repel and take shape and dissolve and disintegrate back into dust and all of this. And that's what this is. This is a dance of energy. It is a play of form. It's exactly what it is. And so, yeah, I just keep doing it. I just want to like break up anything fixed, anything rigid. Let it be a dance. Let it be fun. Know that you are safe and loved and supported. It's an infinite ongoing process. Infinite. You can't mess it up. You're just here to create and play and to have fun in whatever way you desire, whatever is true to you. And it doesn't need to look like, the gift of this is, I hope that it doesn't look like anything that has ever been done before, because we're ready for that newness, that innovation, the new creative intelligence to come and take shape on this planet. And there already is. There's so much. Somebody asked a question earlier today if we thought there was like AI or intelligence, alien intelligence on the planet. And I said, more than there's not. More than there's not. Even in the physical form, there's so many supernatural beings. There's so many, I mean, I interact with aliens all the damn time. I mean, all of us are hybrid, you know, even like looking, I told you the clouds in the sky the other day, it was some kind of an alien intelligence. And I was just admiring the beauty of the intelligence. It was different from a regular cloud. It wasn't a bright, fluffy, organic cloud that we're used to seeing, but it had its own unique intelligence. And that's what I was appreciating about it. And it's been a profound thing to come to that space and to continually evolve into that space around all the expressions of energy that I see, and to hold the paradox of that too, because there's darker energies that I think are beautiful and that I love and appreciate, but even in the moments that I don't and that I'm in resistance to them, I love and appreciate that. And so Yeah, it's just all one beautiful creation, expression of consciousness, of source energy, and we are that. I'm just going to take it back to the Big Bang, everything being in one concentrated space of beingness, and this desire just gave birth to all of that light, all the sound, all the frequency, all the bright vibration. And so start thinking of yourself in those terms, in terms of that energy expressing itself and taking form. I mean, we're all being vibrated into the form that we're in right now. And so, the cleaner, the faster your frequency, the faster things materialize in your reality. The slower, the more laid back, the slower things will manifest. But when you put those two things together, you activate your full potential is what you do there. You activate your full potential because you need to create that space and you need to express. Both of them are foundational to the creation process. And at some point, you let go of even, you're unified with your soul's will. I'm going to say it like that. Your conscious mind will still ask, will still want, will still desire, will still project its intentions into the ethers, and that's all beautiful and well. But at some point, you trust so deeply and so inherently that your soul, in its unified state, already knows what you want, and then your only job is to show up and be.
Right. Yeah, that's the responsibility. That is the responsibility. Take away the responsibility of your human having to do everything and know everything and figure everything out, and put the responsibility and the awareness and the awakening on, I just need to be, and I just need to follow, and I just need to trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Be yourself. Literally. That's it. Yeah. And let all the fixed rigidities fall away. Become one with your creation. Dance with it. Play with it. Make love to it. Enjoy it. And allow it to shift and change and evolve. Don't get so stuck on all the different forms. I'm going to use lovers as a real quick example before we get going. But have you ever just had an amazing lover and you thought, how is anyone ever going to top that? And then a new lover comes, and it's open and expansive, and it's even more expanded than. And so that's how creation works when we let ourselves stay open and expansive. It just gets bigger and better and brighter and bolder and more aligned in all of everything that we could possibly want in desire. And God, it's just exhilarating, and it's awe-striking, and it's humbling, and it's beautiful, and it's just wow that we get to be here and have this experience and to do this and to be creators fucking forever. Oh man. And together, and then we get to do it together. I think that's like the thing too that I want to bring forth. We get to do it together.
It's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. I just almost want to have a ceremony of celebration around it. This is our thing. This is what we came here to do. This is how we co-create. This is how we play and dance and sing and live and embrace. And do you know how many other different beings and frequencies there are out there in the universe that want to be here right now, playing and doing the human thing?
Yeah. Wow. We get to wake up and remember who and what we are. I mean, that's the whole thing. There's nothing to heal or solve or fix or any of this. It's just about remembering who you are. I mean, and once you remember who you are, it's just game on. It's just playtime. It's just fun. It's just, how many other people can I help to get into that mode for themselves, into play mode, into self-remembrance? I mean, it's just a process of remembrance. Remembering who we are. Once that's activated, it's just your playground. Yeah. It's just a big, fat, juicy, delicious playground of all the things that we want to enjoy, whatever that looks like. I love how You said novelty the other day, and that's what it's like. It's all the different flavors of ice cream, all the different gems and jewels and lovers and sounds and music and activities and all the things we get to explore and experience, and the traveling and it's everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that, I just want to say too, all of this is already within you. We're not calling anything. It's just to help you remember that it's already within you. That's all. You just got to let it come out and let it express. Wipe your eyes off, come out of the fog, let go of the judgments. Consciousness loves you. Let go of people's opinions. Be yourself. Be yourself. That's your gift to the world. That's your blueprint. It's already encoded within every single cell and dimension and fiber and fabric of your being. And all of that's being activated now as we speak, the full remembrance of your divine destiny blueprint, your DNA codes, your 12, 13, 14, 15 strand DNA and beyond, all of this, all of your energy meridians and points that just extend infinitely in and out, chakras, all of that. I mean, it's just so infinite. You are the all that is, and that's encoded in you. It can't not be, because you are it, because you are existence, because you are creation. And this is just to help awaken that remembrance, and to the energies and the light codes and all of that are just to help liquefy and bring in new awarenesses, bring in new perceptions, or open new perceptions. I would kind of see it like a shell, actually. Even it's like the energy sometimes is contracted when you're asleep and you're kind of groggy and you've got all these fixed patterns holding it in place. But the more you liquefy, the energy in that shell starts to break open and crack open and come off and liquefy. The energy starts to expand. So the perception of self starts to expand, and the potential and the possibility starts to expand, and everything starts to expand. So it's just like, breaking out of the ground, breaking out of the shell, breaking out of those fixed constructs and patterns, to let yourself be free. What would it feel like to just toss all of that off, to let go of the weights and the burdens and all of that stuff that the beautiful human mind that can be one of our optimal tools for creation and expansion. Don't allow it to cage you in. Don't allow it to be your worst captive, your prison holder, all of that. Don't let it do that. That's been going on for way too long, and we're just so done with it, so ready to let that go. And just let it go. It's okay. Thank you. We love you. We're ready for newness. We're ready for open expansion, fluid open expansion. And there's no end to that. There's no glass ceilings. There's no thresholds. There's none of this. There's open, fluid, creative expansion, and it's ongoing. And so all of those fixed paradigms get to the next level. I mean, I'm just seeing in my mind how it's like we create these levels. It's like, well, what if there's no level? What if there's just an ongoing fluid opening and expansion? So even in the realm of that, let's stop creating thresholds and glass ceilings.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's just that fluidity and letting ourselves occupy that space and getting more comfortable with it, and surrounding yourself by people who are living that way and creating that way, so that you can feel the energy of that and get nice and grounded in the energy of that and start moving and playing in that space. And that brings me to the inner circle. We're starting on November 1st, guys, but it's so profound, because in those containers, there's not all the fear, there's not all the rigidity, there's not the worry and the doubt. There's just empowerment and openness and expression, and being in the energy of that allows your energy to open and expand into that safety, into that knowingness, into that creative expression of self, where you can just continuously expand. And you don't need to go back into all of these, well, this is how you transform, and this is how you heal, and this is how you evolve. No, you just open and express and expand. And when you're in the energy of that, it promotes the energy of that, and you can really start to ground that in for yourself, in your experience, in your own life, in your own creations. And God, I just love to play with these intergalactic goddesses and priestesses and all of us just in there. And the way that we amplify one another's creations is profound to me. It's just, everything is so lined up. Everything is so aligned. It's like someone sends a message and then this thing appears over here that mirrors and reflects the message. And then this person is creating this, which helps this person to create this over here. And it's just because the energy is all being amplified inside of that container, and for no other reason. It's just because the energy is so powerful and amplified in that space, and it amplifies the creative manifestation of everybody who's in the container. Things manifest faster, bigger, bolder, and we all get to share in that together. So we invite you guys to come join us, and we're going to be running this every 3 months too from here on out. You can visit either of our websites. We're going to post the links in the comments, jenniferneal.com, shaktisoul.com. Yeah, and we're going to do this every 3 months so that we can activate and share this experience with as many beautiful beings as possible. Yeah, we love you guys. We'd love to have you there with us. So
we love you. Yeah, it starts in 7 days. So come ground that in. Come ground that in. That next level of trust, that next level of abundance, that next level of truth, that next level of showing up who you always have known you truly are, and just have never mustered to completely get that out and available into your physical reality. And it's true. I mean, we just bounce off of each other naturally, masterfully, infinitely. It's just zip, 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 because we're in this powerful, succinct column of magic and trust and truth. And you and I are extremely powerful, energetic masters, let alone the other women that you're going to be surrounded with. I mean, it is just like, it is the fast track to success, my friend, that next of what you're wanting to ground in, and what you didn't know you were wanting to ground in, and what you've been afraid to admit you're wanting to ground in. And we all allow it to be present with you and happen and align so naturally for you. It's just such a beautiful process and a beautiful thing. And it's a 3-month container filled with just magical things. I mean, as much as we do our due diligence with our energy, we have some really fun and exciting gifts planned for you, and play and laughter, and just like a magical sleepover and slumber party. I want to be a typical girl right now. It's all things. It's just all the things. It
really is. You just got to be your fierce, playful goddess self in your full, raw expression, whatever it is. We don't care. We don't care. We hold space for you exactly as you are. I mean, that's the beauty and the gift of this, is that you can show up fully and completely as exactly how you are. There will be a full encouragement of you opening and expanding into your full authenticity, whatever that looks like. No holds bar, no anyone around trying to dim your light to keep themselves comfortable, just open expansion. And I wanted to share my manifestation that just came through, because it's so magical. I mean, it's beautiful because it's a pure manifestation of actual magic. And so next month I'm going to go to Houdini's estate in LA. I was invited out there by a friend, and I just had to laugh because I thought of, all these things that we create and we manifest all the time, and how, like, my soul was just like, yeah, we'll just give you this gift.
That's a soul aligned frequency. That's a soul aligned manifestation. You didn't even have to do a thing.
No, it was just so beautiful. And that's the kind of energy that, like, we want to invite you guys into, opening up to these really big, profound, beautiful manifestations. I mean, somebody sent me a gift in the mail too. It's a diary, and I'm going to turn it into like a magic diary, because I manifest all the time, and I know you do too. We all do. But I mean, we're manifesting what we want to manifest, and I don't often keep track of it. And I started keeping track of it within the past 2 weeks, and I'm using this beautiful new diary to do that. But I made a list of 20 things, and I was like, okay, maybe sometime within the next few months we'll manifest these. 11 things on that list manifested in 1 week. And half of them were like gifted to me. They just came in and they showed up. And I mean, obviously there's an exchange of love that occurs there. But I mean, and a lot of them were just physical creations of my own too. But like how rapid this process can be. How, I mean, I guess I just didn't realize because I wasn't keeping track, and it can just be, you know, you get into the swing of that creation and it's like that. And that's it, that just coursing that energy and the momentum that is possible for you to sustain and expand, sustain and expand. You don't ever have to go back. You don't have to dip into those. We're not even playing in that field. We're not playing in the field of wobble. We're not playing in the field of healing and fixing and solving. We're not playing in the arena or the space or the dimension of high highs and low lows. We're talking about energetic mastery, where you're living from a magical, empowered, creative, expressive state of being all the time. All the time. So come join us, guys. We love you. If you have questions for us, be sure to keep those in mind for Friday. We'll be back on Friday evening. Jen posted this the other day, but just a quick reminder, we're shifting to Monday, Wednesday, Friday now, because we do have the inner circle starting. So we just want to give that space to all of us, everyone in the container, and to ourselves, and to all of you as well, to integrate between sessions too. Yeah, but we'll see you guys back here on Friday. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us.
Love you all. See you Friday.
Bye.
Bye.